What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override. I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week, but not that much pain. Oh, no. Actually, I'm calling this episode today. I have a couple episodes planned out, but this one's a little more sad. I just learned about the passing of Carl Weathers. Of course, I learned about that while I was at work all day. So immediately I had to go live when I got home and do a podcast immediately about what he meant to me, but what he meant to everybody else. Of course, everybody's going to remember him as Apollo Creed or Dillon from Predator, etc. I remember watching him. I went to the theater to see him when he was Action Jackson, and so like when Steven Jackson played for the L.A. Rams or St. Louis Rams at the time, that's when they used to call him Steven Action Jackson. It always reminded me of Carl Weathers. But let's go back. I mean, I'm willing to go back, so I'm gonna go back to the first time I seen him. Of course, this goes back. This is my dad. My dad showing me wrestling and football growing up, and he was like, "Bobby, we're gonna watch Rocky tonight." And so I got to watch. We watched Rocky, and I got to see Apollo Creed. I'm calling him, go, "Hey, jump!" And call him. It was great to grow up with that, and then to go to Rocky 2 and to see the rematch between Apollo and Rocky and how that unfolded and Rocky finally winning. And then, of course, getting to Rocky 3 that had Hulk Hogan in it, which just got us all jacked up. My dad took me to the theater to go see it. Like we went because we were huge wrestling fans. All you guys, all y'all know that we're huge wrestling fans. So, it was to go see Apollo. It was to go see Rocky Stallone. It was go to see Weathers. That's what we wanted to see. And then, when Dolph Lundgren came along in 4, it just showed so much. But man, I'll get to that. So, you get through 2 and you get to where Apollo Creed helps Rocky in the last one, and gets him ready to take down Clubber Lang, Mr. T. And of course, we were all A-team people at this time. So, like, we're all like, we love Mr. T. Mr. T's almost a freaking G.I. Joe. And we're sitting here and we're just loving everything. If you're if you're living in the 80s at this time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These actors, Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Dolph Lundgren, Mr. T, getting all these guys together for a franchise and just to continuously always putting something in. Let me tell you, I was late. We were late to the party when it came to Rocky 4. And my friends all came home and they were just like, yo, Apollo dies. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Right. And they're like, he dies. And I'm like, oh, man, what happened? They're like, he fights Dolph. He tears him up, man. Tears him up. And I'm like, whoa. Right. So, we're growing up. We're all kids. This is a huge fad for us, and what comes with fads, right? Well, the 5th one, of course, Tommy Gunn and what could be. But when you just step back and you look at those 5 films, the first thing that steps out is a lot of the quotes, when he's like, there is no tomorrow, and he's getting him ready. He's getting him up and he's he's getting ready to he starts out Apollo, that is, Carl, that is, he's training Rocky. And, he's telling me slow. He's like turtle. He's like molasses, and then you get, you got Paulie, and you get, hey, Rock, and you go, you're going to take this, I'm going to put this chicken down, and you go catch this chicken, whatever that quote was, the chicken, right? And he's like, and then the father, I can't even remember his name offhand, and he would go to the window, I'm like, hey, father, and he goes, oh, sorry, yeah. And he goes, and he looked at, he looked at Adrian, and he goes, I love it when he does that. I don't know what he says. And this all was possible with Carl Weathers being part of these movies. And then, when Action Jackson came out, we all went and saw Action Jackson. Heck, I need to go watch that again. And it just so much evolved with Carl Weathers, and just, over the years, I had lost sight of him a little bit. I mean, we still go back and watch the Rockies. Why wouldn't we, right? I mean, when we got the Creed movies out, so we're getting all this right now. We're thinking about him. And then you get him part of the Star Wars universe for Disney. And that was truly awesome to have him come in, have him helping with directing and just making setups, and then just working with the crew. Like, at first, no one really trusted him, but he was so powerful in that last season. He was so good, like the future. looked so strong. You know, Mandalorian is built on the Mandalorian, but that at the same time, you know, Greef was a big part of that. And he was always his inspiration, not just more than the guy to get him the jobs, more than just being a friend, because you know they had their tensions. They you know, he got in with it with him. But at the same time, just the way that Greef developed as a character and became so strong with the Mandalorian and Grogu, that it just made it was big part of the series. And you know, when the announcement of the movie coming out, we know that he had to be or was going to be part of that movie. And then you get that news today. You get that news today that, you know, one of your idols growing up, Apollo Creed, you know, and he's like, don't throw in the towel. And he's gone. He's gone. And you take a second to yourself, think about that, about all his quotes and a lot of his movies, and you know, just what he meant to just all of me and my friends, just the quotes we'd say to each other, and how the Rocky movies were such a big part of it. Predator, oh man, Dillon. He's like, you son of a bitch. All right. And you know, you get that first locking, because right now, I mean, he's off of the Rocky movies, going right into the Predator, and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. And you get him and Arnold with that bicep stretch when they're sitting there playing, you know, having a arm wrestling contest in the air, and you see it kind of develop, and you go through his character, and he's like, anytime, you know, it gets, you know, when he kills Scorpion on dude's back, right? And at the same time, when he gets killed, like the way he got killed was crazy, but he went down, he got his arm knocked off. He went down gunning, and his scream that, oh, you know, like he went on that hunt. They both, you know, him and Mac went on that hunt together. And dude, Mac in that movie too, man, was like, he said that quote when he was about to go, and he's taking his stuff. He was like, he took everything off of me, like a Chinese. I'm in. I'm in. I'm gonna have me some fun. I'm gonna have me some fun. I'm gonna have me some fun. It was great watching all of those movies and watching Carl Weathers be a part of my childhood, my friend's childhood, and all of our childhood. So much respect to his family, his friends, anybody affected by this, any pain bringer, any human being in this world affected by his passing. You know, I'm sorry for you as well. You know, I know we all mourn together. And at the same time, you know, I can only think of what was to come in this Mandalorian season, you know, or this Mandalorian movie. You know, if he made it to the movie, like what was going to happen, what part of him we were seeing, how strong his character had become at that time. And that's that's the biggest thing that you can't pass over, is that when you step back and you look at all of those things added together, you could realize how how Carl Weathers had a huge impact on all society. And yes, his biggest impact, and everybody knew him as Apollo Creed. But recently, he was Greef Karga. He was Greef Karga to the Star Wars fans as well. So even this young generation was able to experience the greatness that Carl Weathers gave to all of us every time he took the screen. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your nights. And always remember to bring the pain. Much love, Carl Weathers. Rest in peace, man. Much love.